Another symptom is there's this gray, oily discharge that comes out of the vagina. Oh my God, that is disgusting. What's going on, everybody? It's Mojo Libido here, the Unchained Man, the Friend Zone Houdini, MGTOW extraordinaire, the girls in my phone, all my little brands. You can check them out whenever you want. They're all online somewhere. Just look them up. How's everybody doing today, man? I hope everybody's doing good. Hope you guys are enjoying the content that I put out. Really try to approach things from a different perspective. You know, I want to talk today about an exclusive club that only girls belong to. No boys allowed. It's called Club BV. If you don't know what BV is, it's called Bacterial Vaginosis. And I want to give a shout out to Donovan Sharp for putting this out in one of his videos. He mentioned it and said to look it up, and I looked it up and I was like, wow. The Bacterial Vaginosis, if you think it sounds bad, it's pretty bad. When I say it's girls only, it's girls only. So what is bacterial vaginosis? On the WebMD website, it states that both good and bad bacteria live in your vagina. If the delicate balance between them is upset, you can get an infection called bacterial vaginosis, or BV for short. You may not have symptoms, you may not need treatment. Most of the time, BV doesn't cause any other health problems, but it can lead to other issues, especially when you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. Okay, so I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm going to let you know what can happen and how a girl can get bacterial vaginosis. So like I said, in a woman's coochie cooch, she has good and bad bacteria. There's a balance to it, yin and yang. And when she upsets that balance, she can get bacterial vaginosis. But how girls get it, that's the key for you to knowing. One of the things that WebMD says is by douching too much, which that seems to be the same on the CDC website. But the main reason why women get bacterial vaginosis is too much sex. Too much sex, promiscuity is linked to bacterial vaginosis. Too much riding the cock carousel, or even too much scissor games with other females. The scissor games. It's crazy because it affects only women, and women can spread it to other women, which is crazy. You're like, okay, all right, so there's this bacteria, whatever. What are the symptoms? What are the signs? Some women don't even know they have it. But the ones that do have it, they know there's something wrong. Some of the symptoms include burning and itching down there. You would think that, okay, if they have burning and itching, they may have like chlamydia or gonorrhea, like Terrence Pop says. No, bacterial vaginosis is not that, but it can increase a woman's risk of getting an STD or transmitting an STD to a sexual partner. And like I said on the WebMD site, it causes complications for them trying to get pregnant or while they're pregnant. Some of the symptoms when they're pregnant is that they're more likely to have babies born premature with low birth rate. Low birth rate means having a baby that weighs less than 5.5 pounds at birth. So that means all these girls who are out here pregnant, sleeping around, that's just disgusting. I'm sorry, man. If you're pregnant with some dude's baby and you're still out here screwing all types of other guys, that could lead to some pretty serious issues with your kids when they're coming out. You know what I mean? There's a transference of energy. Sex is energy. And there's a transference of energy when you're having sex between one partner to the next. If you're pregnant, why would you want to even risk sleeping around and catching an STD and trying to have your baby while you got an STD, you know? That shit could lead to stuff like blindness, like they said, low birth rate, stillborn babies and shit like that, miscarriages. Another symptom is there's this gray, oily discharge that comes out of the vagina. Oh my God, that is disgusting. And then another one is they could have pain down there. Another thing they could have is a fishy smell. Like straight out of the ocean fishy smell. Bacterial vaginosis is some serious shit. And a lot more girls are getting it and having it than most, you know? Across the board, the websites that I looked on when I searched for this, across the board, multiple sexual partners is one of the main causes of bacterial vaginosis. So all these girls out here who are slutted up on a regular basis, when they got body counts racking up to, 10, 15, 20, 30 before they hit a certain age, trust me, they are at risk of having bacterial vaginosis. They probably have it, maybe don't even know they have it. One of the sites, I think it was on the CDC, said that IUDs are linked to bacterial vaginosis, but they don't really know. They have to do more testing to be sure. No, they don't. I'm gonna tell you like this. The reason why they don't attribute all of the main causes to bacterial vaginosis and they keep it in general is because they don't want to have women feel like they're shamed, because feminists are putting it out there now that when doctors talk about them having certain sexual STDs or something like that, or certain diseases, it's like shaming them. Like, wait a minute, no, he's just giving you a diagnosis, bitch, shut the fuck up. So when it comes to bacterial vaginosis, oh my god, just saying it just sounds horrible. When they get diagnosed, having something like an IUD, if you don't know what an IUD is a little metal device that gets implanted into a girl's coochie and it keeps them from being able to get pregnant for up to 5 years. That's just like giving them a pass to be fucking smuts. Like, that's just giving so many girls have IUDs now. More girls should be getting them, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. More girls should be on birth control and getting them, because the rate at which women are having babies these days is insane. And not even just that, they're having babies like crazy, or they're getting pregnant like crazy, and they're having a ton of freaking abortions across the board in this country since 1973, when the abortions became legal. There's been 58 million, 53 or 58 million abortions so far. That's a lot of fucking dead people right there, man. But yeah, the IUDs just kind of increased that. And it's all about girls going out here screwing around, fucking around. And this only affects females because it's connected to the good and the bad bacteria that lives in their vagina. You know what I mean? And they can't spread it to guys, but they can spread it to other girls. Which, that part, when I read that shit shocked the fuck out of me. I was like, wait a minute, what? So all these girls out here who are having sex with guys and girls, if a girl has bacterial vaginosis and she's scissoring these girls that they're doing, she could just pass that shit right on to them. Ain't that some shit though? An STD. It's not really an STD. They have it categorized as an STD, but it's a bacterial type of infection, or more so, not really an infection. It's not a disease. It's more of a excess of bad bacteria in their vagina. So it's not an infection, it's not a disease, but it's categorized in the STDs because it's spreadable to another person, another woman, through sex. That's why I said it's the girls only club. No boys allowed. And this just goes to show you that there's no overwhelming diseases right now that I've found that only guys have and they can't spread it to girls. I mean, we've heard of stuff like HPV, where guys can get HPV, but it doesn't affect them like girls, because it's really a disease that affects women more than it affects men. Guys can have HPV and they can just spread it to girls, but there's no disease that only guys have. I mean, one could argue and say that, gay men, could, spread HIV, but anybody could have HIV and spread that to each other. That was a myth, and it was busted so long ago. But honestly, I haven't heard of any just men only disease like STD that just affects men, and that they can't spread it to a woman. They could spread it to another guy, things like that. With so many guys not having sex, I can understand this being the way it is, because the sex out here these days, the sexual activity out here these days is really imbalanced. Girls are having so much more sex these days that they're not thinking about the consequences and repercussions of them having all of this sex, and this is one of them. Imagine walking by a hot girl and you just smell fish. Sometimes they might even know it, because they might get used to the smell. You know how you go to you be in a certain area and it has a certain aroma or smell, and after a while you don't notice it, but somebody else will walk by or come in there and they be like, ew, what the fuck is that smell? You know what I'm saying? Or they might be like, that's a good smell, and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of numb to it. You know, these girls could be numb to it. Another way that these girls can get bacterial vaginosis is through douching. Okay, douching is one of the main things too. We all know why girls douche, because they want to have this fresh feeling, but girls that douche a lot are usually very promiscuous girls because they want their vaginas to be nice and tight. You know, they want the box to be tight and fresh for the next guy that's coming in, and if they're having a lot of sex, they are douching a lot, especially if they have bacterial vaginosis. They just keep douching, thinking it's going to get rid of the smell, and it just makes it worse. So girls that douche a lot, have a lot of sex with multiple partners, including females. They say smoking is one of them, you know, having an IUD, things like that. Those are the main causes of bacterial vaginosis. So these girls, ladies, you're out here having all kinds of sex, you got shit coming to you. And I won't be surprised if something else pops up with these girls. You know what I mean? You would think that with all of the STDs out here, girls would want to be a little bit more protected when it comes to it. Now, unprotected sex is one of the ways that these girls can have BV, but BV is easily cured. Just stop fucking. You feel me? Stop fucking around. Like, a girl is less a chance of having BV if she's not fucking. Like, girls who don't have sex a lot, or they have sex with one partner, they're not at risk of having BV. You know what I mean? And it's even stated on these sites. One of the main ways that these girls can stop going through the symptoms of BV is to stop having sex. But you know, my body, my choice, right? You think some BV is going to stop them? And then shit just gets worse and worse. I mean, can you imagine these girls who are hot and smoking and gorgeous? They're out there having all kinds of sex and stuff, unprotected, riding a cock carousel, beating it down with Chad, Tyrone, Wang, Jose, Monica, Rosa, Suying, and Tanisha. Like, come on, man. These girls are out here going crazy, and behind closed doors, you know, you think that these girls, you know, walking around looking all good and stuff like that, but you know, these girls walking around in provocative gear, behind the scenes, they walk into the bathroom, they scratching and itching. They walking around with wipes, trying to wipe all that nasty ass crud that be coming out of their coochies up. It's disgusting. You know what I mean? Douching a lot, or using special feminine wipes that try to mask the smell of that fishy smell. You know what I mean? The worse their BV is, the worse the smell is. And it's like, man, there's some dirty girls out there, man. If you're MGTOW, man, stay the course, bro, because even pumping and dumping is like, why would you want to sit back and stick your dick in a girl who's got all kinds of bacteria growing in her coochie that it causes a smell and odor that smells like fish? You know what I mean? It's like, girl, you know, even if she washes it, it's like, you got BV or something, girl? Like, why don't you holler at me when you stop fucking? Then we can get it in or something. You know, and guys are wifing these girls up, and guys are really getting involved with these girls, and they, you know, you're not at risk. You're not at risk. As a guy, luckily, you're not at risk. What's crazy is you're not at risk of getting BV. You can't get BV. That's a woman's only thing. But her having BV can make it easier for her to spread another STD to you, or if you have an STD, it makes it easier for her to get them as well. If they're smutting it up with other girls, and this one girl don't have BV, and the girl she's, you know, scissoring does, then boom, you can get it that way. It's not transferred to the mouth, I don't believe. Let me check on that. Let me just make sure. Let's see. Can't get it from toilet seats, bedding, or swimming pools. Rarely affects women who have never had sex or don't have a lot of sex. It says, how can I avoid getting it? Limit your number of sexual partners. Not douching, not having sex. It says may help lower your risk. That doesn't mean it will. Now, we all know that pair bonding can't happen with a girl who's out here having a lot of sex, but you know, these women, they just do not care. So hold on, let me go on real quick. It says, how do I know if I have bacterial vaginosis? It says many women with BV do not have symptoms. If you do have symptoms, you may notice a thin white or gray vaginal discharge, yuck, pain, itching, or burning in the vagina, Yuck. A strong fish-like odor, especially after sex. So they could douche and be all nice and whatever. As soon as they get finished banging, as soon as they finish riding that cock carousel, boom, that fish-like odor comes right out. Burning when urinating and itching around the outside of the vagina. Oh my God, this shit's crazy. Can it be cured? BV will sometimes go away without treatment, but if you have symptoms of BV, you should be checked and treated. It's important that you take all the medicine prescribed to you, even if your symptoms go away. Male sex partners of women diagnosed with BV generally do not need to be treated. BV may be transferred between female sex partners. Girls only club. I don't want to talk about this no more. This shit is disgusting to me. Guys, be careful with these girls out here because they are going through it, and I can only imagine things getting worse. The more they're having sexual partners, this shit is going to get worse and worse and worse. So protect your dicks, gentlemen. This is Mojo Libido. I hope you enjoyed today's chatter. Please do not hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I upload new videos. Don't forget to like, share, comment, add it to a playlist. Do what you got to do, you know what I mean? Thank you for all the support you guys give me. I appreciate it. And y'all take it easy, man. Peace.